Hey everybody, welcome back to Scatter's Homestead. I am inside once again. I'm getting some work done. I actually have a bunch of projects going for today. The first one is a sewing project. I might get to two, I don't know for sure. But I got these overalls. Just give me a second, I'm gonna set you guys down. So I got these overalls a while back, you know, those typical big baggy, supposed to give you like crazy room, really awesome overalls. Yeah, no, they're not crazy awesome because they're not long enough in the torso, and so it feels like it's always stretching on my body, and I hate that feeling. So I am not the kind of person to throw those kinds of things away. I will just make it work. And so what I did, I started cutting before I invited you to the party. What I did was I grabbed a pair of leggings that I was getting rid of because I had too many, to be honest. They weren't in great shape, but they're a nice cotton, same idea as these overalls themselves. And so I'm deciding to put in like a patch right in the crotch of these overalls, and it should work. It should be everything that I need. So you can just come with me. I'm quickly gonna do it. You're just gonna see it all quickly done, and hopefully the final product will be awesome. So I just showed you very quickly me opening up the crotch of this pant, and I had kind of drawn out on the fabric that I had, drawn out the shape that I needed for the extra space. So now all we need to do is we need to take the pant and kind of find the center of the pant. So you're just folding it right in half. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because some of you might have some sewing skills, and it's not cheap to go and get alterations done. And so I just want to show you how quickly and how easy it is to use those few little sewing skills that you have to maybe make an alteration or something like that. So you have to be brave, you have to pull things apart and be willing to sew it back together. So that's what I had to do, was I made space and I just opened up the pant in the crotch. Now I take this as well, I fold it in half, and now I'm going to line it up with the pant. With it lined up like this, now I can see exactly what the center is for both fabrics. Keep in mind that we are going to be turning this whole entire thing inside out eventually. So you want to be working, when you're pinning this on, you're actually working like on the right side of, oh, do you know what? I'm going to change this. I see that the fabric is a lot darker on the other side. It's obviously the inside of the pant. Is that right? No, yep, this is right. Bear with me. Okay, so you find the center of the pant. I've got it right here. Pinch it together, and now you're just going to want to pin the fabric onto the pant. So now you know you've got the fabric right on center, and now you can just go ahead and you kind of open up the crotch, and you go ahead, and now you're just going to line up the fabric to the pant, and I just pin it, and you can pin it as much as you like or as little as you like. What I like with the pinning is that I know I have it in place, and I don't really need to worry nearly as much about it slipping or moving as I'm sewing. You don't want to sew in these pins. That could break the needle on your sewing machine, so don't do that. And then you just go ahead, keep pinning. I was curious whether I had opened up the pant long enough, and I did it just perfectly. That is luck, guys. That is not experience. That is just luck. Okay, so now I have this first one on. I'm just gonna sew it immediately just so that I have it in place, and then I can remove all the pins, and then I can do the other side. So just a couple of things that I thought of while I was sewing this is you always want to make sure that you only have the 2 pieces of fabric in underneath the foot, the feeder of the sewing machine, because otherwise you could actually start sewing in different pieces of the leg and those kinds of things, and that would just be terrible. So I made sure that I did that. I've checked the seam, and as you can see, it did really well. I'm gonna have to flip the entire pant inside out now so that I can sew the other side through. And I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna pin it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I will sew it. This is the final product. I have way more room in these pants. Absolutely love them. That was a 10-minute project. So that's a simple fix. All I wanna do is encourage you, all you need to do is pin to make sure that you have the seams in correctly and that you can put the pieces together. Other than that, it's just be brave. That's all I'd say. Be brave, do something like that. I have another project. This didn't take me very long. I might as well go ahead and get working on the other project. This is my next project. This is a simple black hoodie, but it is a long hoodie. It's one that, as you can tell, it goes over the hips. And that's kind of out of style, but a black hoodie isn't. And I love a ragline shoulder. And so I'm thinking that what I can do is I can actually cut this hoodie down, and then I can just bring this whole entire piece, the pocket, up to where it belongs on a typical hoodie. So it's going to just take a little bit of bravery once again, because we are going to be taking the hem off of the hoodie. We're going to be taking the pocket off of the hoodie, and then we are going to be cutting it to the preferred length. We're going to sew the hem back on, and then we're going to sew the pocket back on. Let's do it. I have removed the pocket. You can see all this lovely lint that's all attached to it. This is the stuff that never gets removed because it's in such a confined space. So that can be a bit gross, but to me it looks like it's just typical lint. It doesn't bother me nearly as much as when I was a seamstress. You're taking everybody else's lint and stuff out of there. That was pretty gross. But now I just need to measure out where I want to cut this sweater. So I'm gonna grab another sweater so that I can kind of figure out the length that I want to go with. When you're adding a sweater to the to measure out, you want to make sure that you have it completely lined up, that you have the shoulder seams completely lined up. You want to make sure it's identical in the right placing. It seems like I've got, there we go. There. So now I have a sweater. I like this length, so I can see exactly where I need to cut off. This one's just a little bit short. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be cutting probably like right there. So I'm gonna flip up the seam and then, or the hem, and then I'm just gonna cut like an inch away from that. now we have a shorter sweater. So now I can add the hem back on and I can pin on the pocket. A couple things to make note of when you're putting something like that on is you kind of want to start at the center and then you want to go exactly to the opposite side. And you want to kind of find the center of those two pins and on, because you're putting a stretchy cuff onto a fabric that is not crimped like that. So you're constantly stretching it out so that you can make sure that that it's actually going to go on properly. So we're going to sew this on. We're going to sew the hem on before we put the pocket in place, just so that I'm not dealing with so many pins and I don't have nearly the chance to poke myself. This project is a little different. I have to add a lot of stretch to the fabric. Ow, totally just poked myself. I need to add a lot of stretch to the fabric as I'm sewing this. Yeah, my sewing machine does not like going over thick seams like that. So you can see here how, can you see that? Let's just go a little bit closer. Right there, you can see how it's actually hanging there because it's not as taut. So I have to pull it so that it'll be taut like that. And I'm always making sure to kind of follow exactly the seam that I had before so that it will mimic the same hemline. So I came up evenly, the seam or the cuff came on great. Can you see that? So what I'm gonna do is the sweater actually had, they went ahead and they put like a small little seam like just on the edge so that the backing, the seam would actually lay down. So I'm gonna do the same thing. It's just gonna add a little bit of extra quality to it. That worked out excellent. I don't know if you can see that well, but I have that nice seam line all the way around. You know, I just tried this sweater on as is before I put the pocket on, and I don't think I want to put the pocket back on. There is a little bit of a line that you can see right here that is from the lint and stuff. And so I'm going to put this thing through the wash and see if I don't actually need the pocket. It fits beautifully. So I'll just back up so that you can see what it looks like. I'm really excited about how these two items worked out. It took me maybe an hour to just sit down to get these two projects out of the way. They've literally been sitting there for a long time, months. This sweater that I'm wearing right now is actually, it's such an old sweater. I'll actually, I'm gonna put on a different sweater. I've kept that sweater because I've actually put, because I like the logo that I've put on it. And I've kept it in the length that it is. So I'm gonna show you that, the before and the after. It's a different color, but you'll figure out, you'll see the difference in between, you know, the shorter version and then the longer version of the two sweaters. And I might do the same thing with that one because this is fantastic. I love this. But yeah, you know, it's a simple 1 hour job. We got my jumper fixed. I'll be able to wear that, no problem. And I have this sweater now that I can wear. I was looking forward to wearing it, you know, in the garden and on the cool nights. So that'll be great. Oh, Finny. He's seeing something outside. Oh, it's a squirrel. So anyways, before I let you go and before I let Finny out to chase a squirrel, I want to let you know that you might have some limitations, but that does not mean that you're limited. Thanks so much for joining me. God bless.